My name's Lisette and I work for the Basalt Landcare network in southwest Victoria. Today I've come out on a routine remote sensing camera run, checking our remote sensing cameras set up on a farm at St Helens, Victoria, looking to see the incidence of foxes and feral cats and to monitor the federally listed species that we are seeking to protect by our pest control program, and that is the southern brown bandicoot. Now, for those of you who are alert to things, if you look in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, which is approximately 10 metres away from where I'm standing right now, is a southern brown bandicoot doing what it does. So this animal is moving through the native vegetation on the edge of the fence line on the farm. And what it's doing with its little conical shaped nose is sending through the ground looking for fungi and insects. Now that's pretty important for the farm for two reasons, actually three reasons. The first and most obvious one is pest control. Bandicoots eat a lot of insects. They love insects. So it uses its little nose into the ground and then its front paws to retrieve insects out of the ground. When it catches an earthworm, I swear it's like it's eating a lollipop. It's having a great time. The second, perhaps not so obvious thing that it's also doing, because we're in autumn, a lot of these things are fruiting, is hunting for fungi. Now why that might be of interest to the farm is that a lot of the fungi that the bandicoot eats are called mycorrhizae or mycorrhizal fungi, and what they do is they grow in the soil and they form beneficial relationships with the roots of plants, enabling those plants to access more nutrients from the soil. Bandicoots are a very important spreader of those fungi, and without them in the landscape, some plants don't do as well as they could, and that includes the very pasture on which this farmer relies for his income. Being about the size of a small rabbit, the southern brown bandicoot is immensely vulnerable to the introduced predators of Victoria. And what the bandicoot needs in its habitat is places to hide from those predators and less of those predators, so that it can get busy and do what it does really well and coexist in the landscape with us. Now, I'm not sure how long that animal is going to go to ground for. I've been standing here for about 40 minutes watching it, and it's got within 8 metres of me, unconcerned. So this particular farm, which is called Rowansville Stud, has elected, as part of their farming business, to leave habitat for native animals, but also cover for the lambs. We're about to come into lambing, and their property happens to adjoin the Parks Victoria Reserve known as the St Helens Flora Reserve. We've been coming out to this farm for the last 4 years, monitoring the bandicoots and the foxes and the feral cats. And as a result of proving that the southern brown bandicoots do still live there, here it is, back again, we've been able to attract really awesome support from some of the other landholders in this area to control foxes. So this, my first footage of a wild southern brown bandicoot, comes to you on the day that the fox control program, and the landscape around this farm, on this farm, and in the blue gum plantations that are off in the distance has recommenced, which is good timing for the bandicoot, because it may well be that this is a female and perhaps she's storing up a bit of fat for breeding. Bandicoots spend a lot of their time alone, and they tend only to come together when they're breeding. So unlike other animals that have colony behaviour or herd behaviour, they can only rely on themselves to protect themselves from those animals that we've introduced into their environment. So they have quite big eyes like a rabbit, and they have really excellent hearing, which just amazes me even more that I'm standing so close to this animal and talking to you, and it is completely unconcerned. So anyone who tells me that wild animals need to be locked up in a jail and protected from themselves and from the landscape that we've created, that they can't adapt, they can't cooperate and live within a farming system, I hope you're watching this footage right now, because it's really important to understand that with a few tweaks which benefit the farmer and the biodiversity, we can recreate what has been lost in many cases, but also ensure that the future population viability of animals like the southern brown bandicoot can continue, so that people coming to the St Helens Flora Reserve may also be able to stand and watch one of what I think is probably Victoria's most entertaining little animals go about its business without fear of us. I know this has certainly made my day. In fact, it's probably made my year, and when I show this footage to the farmer, I'm sure they'll be delighted as well, because a lot of what they decide to do on this property has enabled this picture that you're seeing right now to occur. And that's a fantastic legacy to the environment of Victoria that we need to acknowledge at some point. Hope you've enjoyed watching this little film unexpectedly. If you want to know anything more about our Southern Brown Bandicoot project, if you're interested in joining in, and that might be you're interested in supporting our research into bandicoots, finding out where else they might live in this area, looking at pest control, improving the habitat for bandicoots and for the farm, because this is a livestock based enterprise, then get onto our website www.basalttobay.org.au. Have a look in the projects and you'll see the St Helens biolink listed. You can look at some lovely photos, read up some information about what we're up to, and then on the final page of our website, if you want to contribute in whatever way you see fit that might be appropriate to the project we're running here, fill out the form or give us a call and join in.